Hello, welcome to CarCast. I'm Matt, the Motorator DeAndrea, here with my friend Aaron Hagar. Goldberg's out today. Aaron, thank you for joining me. Welcome to the show. I mean, you've been
Thanks
on
for having me
before,
on.
but
Yeah, yeah,
many times before.
I'm
Um,
almost a regular.
yeah, almost a regular guest. We had Brad on the other day too. Brad Fanshaw was on the other day too.
Oh, I don't feel special now. Okay. Well,
Uh,
thanks.
yeah, that was a terrible episode. Terrible episode. No, Brad was great. I don't even remember what we talked about, but it was great.
Uh,
Um, Yeah, so I don't know. It's just been some I wanted to catch up with you, and it's just been an interesting few days. Um
Always.
I've got a Cybertruck here, so that'll be kind of interesting.
Oh, I want to hear all about that.
Yeah, so the Cybertruck. It's not a press car. It's obviously I don't think they do that many press cars. We had a Tesla press car years ago. And we do the podcast with Edmunds.com, and they ordered their Cybertruck, but they didn't get it in yet because I think they
Oh
ordered
no.
the three motor one. They ordered the bigger, powerful one, and all these early Foundation series ones, I guess, were just dual motor. Although
But
it's
they're
still fast. Oh yeah, it's
yeah, I
fast.
was gonna say, wow, they're getting faster.
So I don't know. It's a friend was on the list for years. Finally took delivery of it. Drove it a little bit. Um, did a couple road trips on it, put a few miles on it, 1,600 miles, uh, and decided, he's going to try to sell it. I guess the idea is if he makes a little bit of money on it, that's fine. And if not, then he'll just keep it. So he's not
Huh.
really familiar with the whole process. And I said, I'm happy to help. So he said, great. I just come over, I'll drop off the Cybertruck, and then I'm going to list it on Bring a Trailer. It's going to go up, I think,
Oh, that's
soon.
gonna be cool. Is that the first one ever listed on Bring a Trailer? I think it is, right?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm choking on my water here, but
That should be interesting. I'm really curious to see how it goes on Bring a Trailer, because yeah, if one hasn't been on there yet, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm really curious to hear like about the surface, and I saw one of your photos, an overhead 3/4 from the front. I got to say, from that angle, it actually looked really cool. It's that side profile that's just like, oh my god, that thing is ugly. But
yeah.
that top
So
three
let's
quarter, oh,
uh
oh, don't show me that one. Oh, no, no, that's like, oh, I just want to shoot it. If I see a profile of that truck, I want to shoot it. Oh, wait, people have all over YouTube. They've been shooting it. I guess it is
um
bulletproof.
yeah, it's
And
it's
have you
an
seen that on
interesting
social?
vehicle for sure.
Have you seen that on social yet, Matt? People literally have been shooting the truck. You haven't seen that?
Yes, I have, and
Oh,
I
okay.
I don't I
It's
won't
pretty
recommend it.
funny. No, but it makes a great dunk when you when it does when the round hits it. Dunk. It makes a great sound. I just want that sound on my phone so I can play it. Dunk, dunk. Oh my gosh, there it is. That's
Yeah,
that
so
shot.
there's
Top three
the
quarter. I
there's
gotta
the
say,
shot.
it actually looks interesting there. Like, yeah, that's kind of neat looking. I still think get one, totally finish out the graphics with like a Blade Runner theme, make it look like the movie it's supposed to be in, and it would be bad ass. But down the street as it is, when it goes tromping past you in its glory, you're just like, I just want to shoot it.
So when this guy got it, he picked it up at the Tesla facility that's right near me, and
Yeah.
that's sort of their delivery process. He said it was pretty quick. It's about half an hour. You just go in, and they were
Wow.
like, well, "I'll run you through it real quick. If you have any other questions, the manual's on the screen. Read the manual." And then that was it.
I
Here's
bet
your
you.
keys and go. But Tesla has the option to wrap them from the factory, and
Oh,
they'll do like a flat black, like a matte black, a matte white, and I think they have a rose gold that they just announced.
that
So
would
I'm
be
starting
interesting.
to see some of the black ones leave that facility. And you're right. It just looks like a prop car for a movie. It just looks like
Yeah,
something out
yeah,
of like a Demolition Man or I Am Legend or
yeah.
whatever that, or is that the I Am Legend? Maybe it's no, it's the one where Will
Someone
Smith
should
was
green screen it. Just
yeah.
green screen the whole thing.
Uh and somebody sent me a picture of one that was actually kind of like green screen. It was like it was a bright green wrap. It
Oh
was like a
god.
fluorescent green wrap. Um
Jeez.
so I a couple things about it is he delivered it, he dropped it off here, and he had just come back like from Santa Barbara or something. So it was dirty, it was covered in bugs. And I was like, don't worry about it. I'll wash it. I just want to do it myself. You shouldn't take it any place. We don't really know how like it doesn't get scratched. We just don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
washed it myself. Kind of a pain in the ass. I'll tell you, like obviously you need a step stool because the whole roof is this
Oh yeah,
giant
the
thing of
glass.
glass.
Oh,
The stainless steel isn't really slick, so it's not like you and I were talking off the air going, "Hey, if you're gonna go on a road trip, get a good coat of wax at least on the front of your truck, right? Or the front of your car, so the bugs and all that stuff are much easier to wash off later." Not really the case with the front of the Cybertruck.
it has a texture, right? It has a tooth. It's not smooth,
It
right?
yeah, it kind of does. You're right. It's certainly not like a a painted clear coated surface. It's not it doesn't really feel that it's pretty smooth, but it's not quite uh like like a brand new like painted nice car.
Yeah, yeah.
um
That's interesting. Yeah, there has to be some sort of coating or something on it because it would just be too hard to maintain. I mean, DeLoreans were a nightmare, absolute night. They never looked nice.
yeah, I would say this is probably better than that for whatever they're
I would think
doing on it.
so.
I don't know.
I would think so.
And look, it was fun to drive. The four-wheel steering is kind of interesting because um you only turn it about 90 degrees lock to lock at slow speeds, like around a parking lot. It's a very tight turning ratio, and then as you start to drive it, it loosens up so you don't dart around the street, make it
Uh,
unsafe. And
yeah,
it's all drive
I've
by
heard
wire.
people. Yeah, I've heard people say it takes a lot to get used to. Like it really takes a while to get used to.
Yeah, so what's happening is the guy who bought it, he said, yes, when you make a right hand turn, you hit the curb, you run over the curb. You have to get used to
Wow.
doing it because it's kind of tight. So that was kind of interesting when I drove it. Inside it it was much roomier than I thought it would be. The way that roof line goes, if you sat in the back, there's more room back there than you think there is. And Alistair from Edmond said he's 6'4" and he sat back there and he was actually fairly comfortable. With the it has the power tonneau cover, and when it's closed, you can't see out the rear window, and it's a very small sliver of glass and a tiny rear view mirror. And then you use a camera, uh, which is fine. I drove it with the tonneau open so I could just get photos and stuff for the bring a trailer listing. Um, I like the other Teslas. I don't drive a lot of Teslas, so this isn't really a Cybertruck issue or anything. It's just something to get used to with Teslas, and that's everything on the one screen. And then when you turn, uh, the cameras come on, but it is a little odd to like turn left and look down on the center console to see the camera for your
Oh,
turning left because your head wants to
instead
turn
of
left.
looking in a mirror. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but of
yeah.
course there's still mirrors on it, so you can still just use the mirrors. That's
Oh, there are
that.
mirrors.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Um,
that's right. They couldn't go mirrorless. I think I
right,
think I heard the thing about that. Yeah.
right. We don't allow
Well,
that yet in this country. I don't.
yeah, because there's no stalks or anything on that steering column, right? Like there's
Right. No,
minimal steering
on
wheel
the
control.
steering wheel, there's two arrows, and you push them for turn signals left and right.
Wow.
But listen, it was cool. It's fast. It's comfortable. This Foundation series has the off-road tires on it. Uh, I even plugged it in and charged it for a little bit at one of the public Tesla chargers, and it seemed to get pretty. It was pretty quick. Uh, I drove past uh, through the neighborhood of my warehouse. There's a little school. There's like a elementary school over there, and I drove past the elementary school, and the kids were outside, like, playing soccer and everything, and all the kids like ran over to the fence, and as I was driving slowly through the neighborhood, they're all like running with the vehicle, and I was like, "What is this? Like all the kids that ran with Rocky when he was going?" They were all just kind of losing their minds. So I went slow and let them all kind of like look at the truck.
Wow. Well,
Uh,
what a marketing tool for Tesla.
yeah,
What are they going to do next? Send someone to the moon? Oh, wait.
yeah, right. So it's cool.
Oh,
It's
wait.
fun. In the pictures that you see online, it has the wheel covers, but the wheel covers had some kind of issues. They cover the wheel and part of the tire, and it's like kind of cutting into the tire a little bit. So we have them removed on the one that's here. And when I photographed it for Bring a Trailer, there's no wheel covers on it. But Tesla's going to replace them. They'll be included with the vehicle when we sell it. But it's it's cool. I mean, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily for me, but I get it. If you want attention, this this gets attention.
I have to say, I wasn't a fan, and like anything that's new and different, it takes time for you to kind of get used to the way it looks or the way whatever it is, its properties before you kind of accept it. I'm starting to accept it, and as I accept it, I'm trying to find solutions for the glee factor, and I mean the ugly factor. And as I do, it becomes more interesting. And it's like, well, if life was a little different, and I had the financial resources to just go, you know what, I'm just going to get it. I might just to do something really different with it and have fun, and then move on. But
Well,
the creative part of me wants to play.
certainly from just the standpoint of like designing a cool like wrap, maybe
Yeah,
don't even go with one color. People are going to stand on it anyway. I was saying this about
gotta break it up, man. You can't go with one color. You gotta break that up.
I was like, this thing gets so much attention, and I was like, well, since I have it here for a few days, like, uh, I mean, I wouldn't do it. It'd be expensive. I was like, well, what if I just wrapped it with Bravago because we have the brand and just drove it around? I was like, we probably get more photos taken. It'd be the best billboard we've had
Yep,
for
totally.
the
Yep,
beverage
totally.
company, because all you have to do is just drive it around LA, drive it around
Yeah,
Santa Monica,
you
something on the
should.
west side for a while
You
with
should.
that. Yeah, I don't have the resources for it, but if I just grab like a bunch of like a big sheet of paper and some
Yeah,
masking tape, and
yeah,
I'll just draw.
yeah. Well, do
Just
you have Bravago masking tape?
no,
I mean, that's
but
a cheap thing when you wrap your boxes. Do you have
yeah,
Bravago tape? If you do, just put a bunch of
just put
Bravago
a
tape
bunch
all
of
over it.
Bravago tape all over it. Be a big billboard for it.
Hey,
Um,
you can do the Eddie. You can do
yeah,
the Eddie stripes.
yeah, right.
Bravago
Like
tape.
the Eddie Van
Yeah,
Halen guitar, just do
yeah.
the stripes over it. So
Right.
as an artist, like you could have some fun coming up with a cool wrap and stuff for it.
Absolutely,
Now the
absolutely.
bed of the truck is bigger than you kind of think. Like as a shorter guy, it's a little tough to get things over the edge because of the angle of the
Oh,
sides of the
right.
truck.
Yeah.
And then it has air ride, and I know you can configure it for different situations, but he has it so that when you turn the vehicle off or when it's in park, it lowers itself so it's easier to get in and out of. And I was
Okay.
able to get into the bed of the truck, and it worked out fine. And then in the bed there is a storage compartment. So there's with a
Oh, yeah.
drain.
Underneath.
So
Huh? Yeah.
yeah, not large enough for a spare tire, which is kind of odd, but because the spare tire is an option and it would go in the bed of the truck.
Hmm.
Uh, and then Tesla said at some point down the road they're going to offer an add-on battery, so you can put it in the bed of the truck and it'll really
Oh.
extend the range.
Oh,
I don't.
that's cool.
It's a neat idea. It kind of takes
Yeah.
some of the utility out of the truck.
Well, but if it's down in that little space, and,
It's not going
if
to
you
go
got.
in that space. It goes into the bed of the truck.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's not a good
um,
idea. But Matt,
yeah,
so how many bodies can you, like how many
yeah.
bodies
I
you gonna fit in the back?
I think there's a picture of on the side.
Bodies?
Let me.
I can fit two dead horses in there.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's a lot of
Um.
car. Boy, you got everything already, man. Oh, that's right, because this is CarCast. Okay.
Yeah. I'll show you the So the interior, it's cool. Everything's on
Oh
the one
wow.
screen. When you go to the website, it has the white and trim along and the red light. That's what I have here. I don't know if there's other options. You could probably change the colors and stuff on it. There's a screen in the back that's kind of cool. Trying to find out if there's.
You know what, Matt? That looks like whoever designed the interior looks like they played with cardboard boxes a lot when they were kids.
Yeah.
Right? Like they made cars out of cardboard boxes. That's kind of what the design element is. No, I'm kidding. Is that all Alcantara? I mean, not vegan, obviously, but that looks like Alcantara along the dash and stuff.
It has a texture or something to it, but I don't think it's Alcantara. So, if you're watching this on YouTube instead of just listening to the podcast, we're looking at a picture right now. That's the spare tire in the bed of the truck. So that's where it would go if you wanted to
Wow.
bring a spare tire. It doesn't fit into the
Oh,
compartment.
it's not a jacuzzi? I thought
It's
that was
not
a
a
jacuzzi.
jacuzzi.
Oh,
And then that is the
battery.
add-on battery. So,
Oh my
so
gosh.
you still have part of the bed. It's
Wow.
smaller, and then
Sure.
and then this section here, where I'm mousing over, is the storage compartment that you can use, but you lose about half the bed when you put the
Yeah,
big battery in there. But also, you can't do the battery and the spare tire. And I guess you could probably fit it, but then that's all you'd be carrying would be the
yeah.
battery and the
Why didn't they
spare.
just make a power pack that fits in that little compartment underneath?
Yeah, you know what, you never know. I have a lot of faith in the aftermarket. You never know what you come up with on the
Sure.
aftermarket side.
Boy,
And as
that's
we scrolled through the images and stuff, there's attachments for the roof racks and available like tents and stuff. So they're definitely trying to make it a truck. And if you go to Edmund's video that we covered on CarCast last week, Edmunds did a comparison between the Cybertruck, the Ford F-150, and the Rivian, and surprisingly, it's almost about the same amount of storage among the
yeah.
three. I think the F-150 came up with like one box. They did like a box test. They built a bunch of empty boxes from like Home Depot or something. And the Ford, I think, fit like an extra box or something because the frunk is bigger and however they got it done. So
Wow.
anyway, it's
Well,
fun to drive.
I have to say I can't criticize screwing up a trucks and putting stuff in the bed and then not having a bed. I took my Jeep, which is a Gladiator,
Yeah.
to do some stuff yesterday, and I couldn't even fit. I wanted to take my Super 7.3s. I wanted to bring them back to the to the Napa house, and I couldn't even fit one of them in the back of the Jeep because now I had built it out for overlanding. I literally couldn't get it in the back door. And so I thought, well, I'll put it in with Go Wings. And my back was so sore, I couldn't lift it high enough because they're heavy. Those Super
They're
73s.
heavy. Yeah, the electric
freaking
bicycle,
heavy.
the Super
I
73
couldn't
is
lift it
heavy.
up and put it into the back of the Jeep. I'm like, oh, this is so sad.
Yeah, you kind of took all the utility out of the Jeep,
Totally.
but you outfitted it with so much gear.
Yeah.
The
It
advantage
did pop
of
the roof for people,
the advantage of building out the overlanding version of the Gladiator is no one's going to ask you to help them move. Like,
oh, that's
Aaron's got
true.
a truck. Aaron's got a truck.
I helped move my friend out of his parents' estate after 50 years. I spent 3 or 4 days helping, and that of course not in the Jeep. I drove the Mini Cooper, but yeah.
There's more room in the Mini Cooper.
Not as a hauler. Not as a hauler. Maybe that's why my back hurts so bad. I was detailing my brother's Subaru yesterday. He's going to sell a Subaru and I think he's going to get an Alexis. What is it, an LC 460, right? The SUV. It's like a 4Runner.
Oh, LX, I think. Is it LX?
Oh, LX 460, I think. Yeah. Anyway, he's looking to get one of those. Really nice, 23, just slightly used, lease return or something. It's a nice vehicle. I hope he gets it because right now he has a 2014 or 15 Subaru Forester.
Yeah,
in metallic gray with actually really pretty chocolate brown interior. But
the interior I saw you sent me pictures looks pretty good.
Yeah, it is pretty.
Nice, so.
Dad's a little old school, so Dad keeps teasing him. He goes, "Hey Andrew, you get any chicks in that car?" And Andrew goes, "Yeah," but then they see me and they're like, "Oh." What they say, socks and Birkenstocks. I won't say more because I don't get us in trouble, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. So you guys are gonna sell that thing. You're gonna sell it locally?
I think he's just going to trade it in.
Trade it in.
I think he's over it. He doesn't want to, go to CarMax and get an estimate and get lowballed, and then go somewhere else and get lowballed, go somewhere else and get lowballed. He's like, I'm just going to trade it in and get lowballed. At least I'll walk away somewhat happy with a new car. But yeah, so I was over at Dad's warehouse yesterday, and I have the Morgan there, and I have the old Mini, the 1960 Mini. And a couple bicycles and a couple motorcycles stashed in the corner of his warehouse. He's been gracious enough to let me do that. And I didn't even take the covers off. I just let them sit there in lumps, and I was just itching to go over and drive them. But I spent 8 hours detailing that car, and I was itching to take a bike out or just do something. Yeah. I have to save it for another day, but I do miss riding. I haven't been on a motorcycle in a while, and I do miss the Morgan. It's so fun. The weather's starting to get better now, and it's a little sunny, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get out, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get my wind in the hair. And
take advantage now of the move from Lake Tahoe to Napa. Now you've got, so many more places to explore. Like, I know the family's lived out in the area for a long time, but just to be able to,
but it's been a while.
Get on a bike or something and just hit it in the morning.
We've kind of been a slave to Tahoe, and now it's like we can say yes more, and we did. My wife and I took the Mini and drove the other Mini, the 70, and drove to Bolinas with the dog, and drove around the coast all day, and I took the Defender to a Land Rover meet last weekend, and at 7 a.m, and met a bunch of old vintage Land Rover people. And, it's like, that's the stuff we do now. Hey, I drove
the Land Rovers were older vintage, or the people were?
Yeah. Most all of them were. And the folks driving them. There was one gentleman who was 80, and I'm like, you're 80? Wow. He didn't seem like he was 80. Very, very intact and world traveled. And I got a lot of stories in one morning, but yeah, my brother's an hour away now. My sister's 40 minutes away. My mom's an hour away. It's everything's so much closer. And last night, I don't think I left at 10 o'clock, and it's like, I was so exhausted thinking, God, this drive, man, 3.5. Oh, wait, I'm gonna have to drive 50 minutes. Oh, great.
Yeah, which is great.
And I was home.
Everything in LA takes 50 minutes, especially.
Exactly.
You gotta go to Beverly Center from Venice Beach. Like, I'll be there in 50 minutes.
And if you don't like the weather here, you just drive down the street. It's like, oh, look, it's foggy. Oh, I'll go to Sonoma today.
Yeah.
To where in Tahoe, it's like, oh no, it's worse over there. Okay, I'll just stay here.
and you guys, the house that the longtime house that your dad had is still up. You guys still own it in that area, but doesn't normally. We know he's down here in Southern California.
Yeah, well,
on a regular basis. But does he keep the cars up there?
Yeah, so there's a few things there. Most all of it's in the warehouse where I was yesterday. But yeah, he's got a couple things up there. He's driving stuff, so he has a lot of stuff down south with him.
Yeah,
and the stuff that's in the warehouse is just stuff that you wouldn't want to take down south. And he tries to rotate it a little bit, but the Marin house is 1975. I think he got that, and it's still there. I just checked on it. We had a big windstorm a couple weeks ago, and so I ran over there to check on it. And there wasn't even a branch in the pool. I was really surprised. It was perfectly good. Some furniture had fallen over, and a bunch of lemons fell out of the tree. But other than that, I was surprised at how intact everything was.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, no, it's nice to be there. It's nice to have Dad text me and say, hey, can you go help your brother out tomorrow? Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna go check on the house, Pop. And there was a big windstorm. Oh yeah, cool. Hey, Mom, how you doing today? Oh, you know what? I'll come out for lunch. It's so nice to be able to do that. That's why we're here. It's just great. Just love it. I just love it. Although Tahoe has been pretty minimal winter wise. I went up there and cleared 4 feet of snow, and 2 days later it's a foot. It just melted back in a couple days. So you wonder why you even went and did it.
Yeah.
It's the what if I didn't do it, it would be there till July.
Yeah, right.
Uh,
Um, Shifting gears a little bit, I was thinking about when we were at the SEMA show, we were talking with the Ring brothers, and they had built another Mustang and had the Coyote engine in it, and
right.
that it's it's a great engine, handles a ton of horsepower. You can build it up, lightweight, aluminum, overhead cams, it's cool, but those guys don't like it. They're like, it's such an ugly engine. Like there's so little we can do with it. They're always trying to cover it up, and uh, and we've seen so many of the crate engines get dropped into these project cars and Broncos and stuff. And the thing that always bugged me is the single throttle body has to have that big like elephant trunk of an
Right.
intake, just a big tube that has to turn 90 degrees. And when the new Mustang came out, the 2024, one of the big new features on the Gen 4 Coyote engine is the dual throttle bodies. So now it has two throttle bodies, and in the Mustang, they both turn to the outside, so dual intakes, dual, air cleaners, the air boxes, and it has a little symmetry, a little bit more symmetry into it. It's not perfect, but it would look better. So immediately I was thinking the builders are going to love this idea because they could do more, even if they cover the top of the engine and the cam covers, but having some symmetry coming into it. So I just was kind of waiting for that to happen. And sure enough, it's been announced. Ford put it up on their website. The Ford Performance crate engines. They're doing the Gen 4 Coyote engines, and
We saw
you can
those at SEMA, right?
yeah, so
Yeah.
we saw them in the car, and we saw the supercharged version that they did in partnership with Whipple. But now the crate engine is available from Ford Performance, but it is an Aluminator engine. So instead of just being the bone stock engine, it it does come with uh the different pistons. It's got the forged pistons. It's got ARP bolts. It's forged steel crankshaft. Um, so it's got some upgraded features and stuff on it. And the big thing, of course, is the billet oil pump gears, which is a modification that a lot of people do as you start to modify it. And it typical for Ford, it does come in two variations. It comes in the naturally aspirated version, so that's the 12-to-1 compression, and then it comes in the blower version. So if you're going to supercharge it, it's a 9.5-to-1 compression. So uh,
Um,
the naturally aspirated version is 480 horsepower. And then the blower version, I assume it's less. I don't know exactly what it is. Um, because you're going to supercharge it anyway, and it's got a kind of a beefier, with the pistons and stuff and the ARP bolts. You should be able to get an incredible amount of power out of it. The downfall is it's $15,000. So
yeah. I was wondering with that
15 grand,
add
15
that to
grand
your
for
ring.
the engine is not a lightweight gesture there.
No. Oh,
Uh, I'm a little surprised it's quite that expensive, but I guess the plan was if you're going to get it, they're going to give you the Illuminator version of it. Otherwise, you just wait for somebody to unfortunately wreck their 24 Mustang and you pop that out, and because there's swaps all
it could
around.
happen.
Yeah, listen, you go
Could
to
happen.
Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. There's Coyote crate engines that are takeout engines all over the place.
Yeah.
Um, so this new engine will start to have it at some point. It just won't have the Illuminator upgrades. So if you're just doing like
Right. Right. Right.
if you just want a nice swap, 480 horsepower swap, then it'll be great. Pull a stock engine out of some damaged car or something. But yeah, it's just be interesting to see how many of these pop up at SEMA this year. If
Yeah.
Ford has it in their catalog, if they have them in stock and they're going to start shipping them out, they're going to be in SEMA cars.
Oh, you betcha. Absolutely. I'm looking at the Ring Brothers car too. Yeah. Yeah. The it's like you have this. I mean, not my favorite color, but you have this beautiful, candy apple red Mustang convertible, and then you have that motor, and like you said, you just have this strange appendage coming off the center of the
Yeah.
engine, kicking over to the driver's side. You're like, Yeah, it's got no symmetry, and it's just like the
Yeah,
engine
right.
so beautiful. The way they finished it in blue is very interesting. And then you have this appendage. It's like, what is that? So there's nothing you can do. Just like, we were stuck with it. Nothing we can do, you know.
Yeah, I think the car is called Caged. I
Very
think it's called
strange.
Caged
Yeah.
is the car that they did. Um, and that's a cool car because that car looks almost like just a really, really nicely restored stock Mustang.
Exactly. But
But oh yeah, it's the whole thing is like widened like 2 or 3 inches.
yes. Yes. And I was just looking at the photos and trying to tell. And like, if you're really a Mustang person, you can tell, but man, like you can tell right on the hood line that like the hood deck has a little bit of a different pitch to it because it's stretched,
A
but
little bit, but it wasn't stretched
it's
down the
hard.
middle. So
It's
the glass is
exactly.
the same. So when you
Yes.
open the door,
Stretched on the fenders. Yeah.
yeah, and through the doors and the tops of the
Yep.
doors. So it's
Really smart.
widened that way. Yeah, it's
Really smart. But
it's pretty interesting.
to me, because the fenders are longer, it's not that it looks droopy eyed. I don't want to mislead, but it definitely has a different look. It's a little wide eyed, right? So
Yeah.
it changes the look of that hood line, into a little more of a wide eye, right? But it's really like it's hard to tell. I think they did a great job. Like they really did a great job. There's a little more. I think there's a little more space between those little louvers next to the headlights and the headlight gap. Um, but yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. But being a Mustang guy, I never liked that style of wheel. I did like I had a convertible. I had a brown convertible with pony interior with a 302 in it.
Yeah.
Mexican block 302, and I GT 350'd it out, and but there's nothing like a fastback, man.
Yeah. So they
That
did a
fastback,
fastback version of this.
oh, I
And
would take that car.
the client for this car, and I know who the client is, but they didn't
Right,
they
right.
didn't want to be public with it. And uh um the client is actually like a fairly famous billionaire. And the client saw
Oh, which one?
like the
Oh, there's too many.
fastback. Yeah, there's actually quite a few. There's quite a few. It's like it's obviously not Elon Musk. I think he just drives Teslas. So it's not that guy. But the guy saw the fastback version that they did and got a call and never even talked to the client. He's like, I represent so and so, and we want you to build one of these. And they thought it was a joke at first. And the guy called back. He's
Yeah,
like, I'm not sure what you need. You need a bag of money? Like, what's happening? Like, like we want this thing. And then that's it. It just
yeah,
happened. And then I I don't even think they talked to the client. The client a an assistant or a rep or somebody, and that was all how it happened. And they built it and they love it. And that's
yeah. That
sometimes
was
that's
pretty
how it
cool.
works, but but to see the story is interesting because again, this is somebody of this, this profile, I guess, is not even necessarily known as a car guy, just saw it and goes, I haven't seen anything like this. This is beautiful. I want one. I obviously don't want the same thing, so make a convertible. And but I just want it to be as true as possible to the actual Mustang. Just do your
Yeah,
thing to it. And they're like, alrighty, let's do it. There
yeah.
you go. You and
That
I
green.
went and looked at it because it was
Yeah,
next to the kicker booth. Remember,
yeah,
on the
yeah,
way out, we were like, I remember getting kicked out of SEMA because the lights were turning
yeah.
off. We were up there with Stacy David, and we
Yeah,
were
yeah. We're up there with
talking with
DC.
him. And I said, Ring Brothers car is right there. Let's swing by real quick.
I'm glad we
Uh,
did. It was really neat to see in person. You can really appreciate the details in person.
yeah,
Like it is so massaged. It does look like a just kind of a tricked out version of a regular one, but it's but then you start looking at the details and you're like, whoa, and then you pop the hood and you're like, whoa, there's a
yeah,
lot of whoas.
yeah.
Whoa,
There's a
horses,
lot. There's a
whoa.
lot.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to bring up the crate engines. I think it'll be some fun stuff that happens with those. And so many guys, like we talked to Ray over at Full Throttle Customs, and when you start to get creative with the intake on those Coyote engines, they don't tune well, right? They're very complicated to tune. So you don't, that's why they all have kind of that same like 90-degree elephant trunk of an intake.
Leave it alone.
Yeah, like you can't really like split it into two and create some symmetry. Everybody's tried it and they never tune right.
Yeah. So thank you, Ford, for
the
making
dual
it
throttle
right.
body. Thank you for the dual throttle body. But
no doubt,
if you supercharge it or put the Whipple or something on it, they do a 2-into-1. So you end up getting the kind of the old school look to it. So it's kind of weird. But if you keep it naturally aspirated, you can use the dual throttle body setup and it'll look good, I think. So
funny.
All right, I think we're gonna wrap things up, but
we done already?
Yeah, I think we're
all right.
Got to the end here.
You and I, Matt, we just flow. That's what we do. We just flow. Sorry, I'm looking at all the other fastbacks now.
Yeah, see, now you're gonna go down the rabbit hole of stuff that they built. But yeah, all right. I'm gonna go bust around with this Cybertruck and get it listed up on Bring a Trailer, and I'll let you guys know when that goes up there. If somebody wants it, it'll be for sale. The market will determine the price. That's how it works.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on as always, man. I enjoy our conversations.
Thank you, and we'll see you guys next time. Yeah, CarCast. Keep the air in the spare, in the bag of the wheel.